What's up, everyone? Welcome back to another live stream. Super happy to be back after an amazing weekend, and I don't know about you guys, but I did had an amazing weekend. There was a bunch of soccer games here in Portugal, and I also had a bunch of fun with friends. So how everyone is feeling today? I hope everyone is excited about another live stream. Today we have amazing content, chat. Today we do have amazing content, chat. I hope you guys are ready, because today we have 4 things to do if we have time, okay? If we have time, let me show you. So the first thing we are going to do today, chat, is literally go back to reviewing your code. You guys have kind of enjoyed a bunch of this kind of content, and I do have too. It's basically about you guys sending me links to your own Laravel projects or PHP projects or any kind of coding project. And what I will do today is kind of review your code, like literally your own code here on stream. And we do have this project by Amimi, and the project is called Offerly Backend, and I'm super excited to kind of review this code. It was submitted to my own Discord channel. You guys know that I do have a Discord channel where I do post where we do have a Discord room where you can post your links and we can review them live on stream. How everyone is feeling today? Charlie French Boy, what's up, dude? Nice to see you. Cosmic Nerd, what's up? How you doing? Luis Cruzo, how you doing? Rizio, how you doing? GT Smith, nice to see you. Ivan, nice to see you as well. And what's up, everyone on TikTok as well? Happy to see you all. Did you guys saw my interview with Matt Stauffer? That was a good one. Went live today. Actually, today, a bunch of stuff went live already. I don't know if you guys noticed, but that is like actually very good news. The first one is actually next Wednesday, Taylor Otwell is coming. Literally. Taylor Otwell, the man itself, my boss, is coming to this live stream. How awesome is that? Taylor Otwell is coming the 28th May within 2 days, Wednesday, to our own stream. Can you guys imagine? Like our own space, our own bubble, and Taylor Otwell is coming. I think will be awesome. Jordan is asking, where is the Discord link? Here we go, dude. I'm going to share with you. Here we go, dude. The Discord link so you guys can join and submit your Laravel projects if you want them to be reviewed. But also, in reality, that Discord channel is also used to a bunch of community work. Like literally a bunch of us are there every single day, and we have a bunch of fun all together on that Discord every single day. I do announce all the new videos on that Discord channel as well, so pretty much every single time I do have a new YouTube video. For example, today I literally published a new YouTube video about what is coming new for PHP 8.5 and about this pipe operator story. So I did literally share the video there once it was out. But also, like, it's literally the place where I do prepare, future episodes on this stream. But also, like, Taylor is coming next Wednesday, and I'm gonna probably, ask for some help from you all. But I think, yeah, if you want to join me, do that. Go to my Discord channel. It's pretty cool, and I think you guys are going to love that. Sup News is asking, is worth learning Livewire in Alpine.js, or Vue React is much better and there is no need for Livewire? I think it's totally two different front-end frameworks. So I know both. I know React and I know Livewire, and I think they are kind of different for the project I want to tackle. So, for example, the Pinkerton social media I have built, it's totally built on top of Livewire and gives me that fast pace I want, and I have built this social media entirely with Livewire, but I have also built Laravel Cloud with React as well. So I think they are totally different front-end frameworks, and both are great in their own way, okay? But yeah, that being said, let's jump into code review. Are you guys excited? I am, okay? So this very first project we are reviewing together, it's called Offertly Backend, which tells me there is a front end to this project already. So potentially the entire backend will be here, but not the front end, okay? This is something that a lot of people are kind of following today, kind of have two different repos for the project. So one goes for the backend and another one goes for the front end. I personally feel that I would always go to the mono repo approach with inertia as a protocol between my backend and front end, which potentially will be built with React or Vue. But who knows, right? Who knows? Chat, today I also want to try this thing of not actually having any music during the live stream. You guys let me know how it goes. If you guys prefer this or you do prefer some country music. Luis Cruz is saying mono repo for the win. Dude, I'm also like super into mono repos, okay? Super into mono repos. So if you just arrived, chat, today we are doing 4 things today. 4 things. The first one is that we are going to code review this project called Offertly Backend. So it's a Laravel project, and we are literally reviewing this together to see all the tiny bits and choices of this developer have made. The second thing we are doing is review Google AI model VO3. Okay, I have seen like a bunch of tweets out there of people pitching this VO3 model by Google as being completely nuts, as something that actually works. So today we are reviewing this as well. Finally, as third thing, if time allows, but you guys know, like every time we program like 4 things to do, we end up doing just 2. So if time allows, we jump into software engineer job market in 2025 to hear his opinions about this topic, and also to give you my opinion about the job market in software engineering, okay? Pablo Homero is saying the Discord link through the link is invalid. Really, dude? Let me double check that for you real quick. So I'm gonna actually open here on my own Firefox real quick to see if I can join, and undeniably I'm able to join, so not really sure what happened. I'm gonna share the link once again. Make sure you copy paste actually the link to your browser if you can. And the final thing we are going to do is Why Do I Feel Burnout as a Software Engineer by the Primagen. So this one will be exciting as well. I have serious thoughts that we are going to be I do think we are not going to be able to find the time for this today, but let's see how it goes. That being said, today, chat, we are literally code reviewing this project, which is a Laravel backend. A lot of people are indeed choosing to have a separate repo for the backend and another repo for the frontend. You guys know me. I'm a big fan of mono repos. I typically like to have my backend in Laravel, and then I have the inertia protocol to communicate my Laravel backend with my frontend built typically with React or Vue.js. I do feel like choosing a mono repo is just a better option. What is your option personally? Do you typically like to have two separate repos? I don't feel the need for that, and I do think that a mono repo is always a better choice. There is also something that, it just clicks to me immediately if you want to separate your backend from your frontend as a repo, which is the deployment pipeline and how exactly that will work. Because if you have your backend and you want to perform a change, you might want to actually deploy the front end at the exactly same time. But because there are two different repos, there is a whole bunch into it, and it might get a lot complicated. So I like to have everything in the same place. So this project apparently is a backend for a marketplace application. Okay, a marketplace application, which is typically something I would probably select Laravel to do that. Again, chat, if you don't know me, my name is Nuno Maduro, PHP and Laravel developer streaming pretty much every single weekday. And if you like my work, feel free to give me a follow on YouTube, on Twitch, and all those cool things, okay, chat? So let's see the chat a little bit. Tuto1902 is saying the following. Now that we have native PHP, a backend repo makes sense. Oh, because literally you may have your mobile app as a separate repo from your API, for example. Yeah, I do get that. However, I do think that here we are talking precisely about a front end that will be visible in a browser. Carlson is saying the following. Do you use a monolithic modular structure? What do you think when it's better to dip into it? I don't actually follow any modular structures, okay, chat? Actually, recently, I talked with a developer about the way we organize Laravel applications, okay? And some of the things we talk about is literally how exactly your Laravel application will be structured. And he was saying to me that he likes to have literally separate modules for his own applications. For example, here will be something like sales, for example. In here, we are going to have articles. In here, we are going to have users. And then within each one of these modules, he was organizing things like, HTTP layer with controllers. And then there is this articles folder with controllers as well. And finally, every single folder would have its own HTTP layer or its own models layer, okay? I typically don't organize my mono repos this way. I'm gonna be honest with you, all right? What I do is that I like to have the flat structure Laravel gives me. So I have pretty much all of the models within the same folder. I have all of the controllers, no matter where they are or where they are coming from, they will be always placed within app HTTP. Okay, so typically the way I organize Laravel projects is what you typically would find on any Laravel application. So all my controllers, no matter where they are coming from, will be placed on this exact folder. All my models, no matter which models are, they will be placed within the app models folder. So this is called flag structure or organizing by type, which I'm a very fan of. Okay, typically like to say that this doesn't scale. I can tell you that I have built huge applications, and this have always scaled, no problem whatsoever. Let me know what you think, okay? Let me know what you think. Chat, again, if you don't know me, Nuno Maduro, it's my name, and I do stream pretty much every single weekday. So be sure to give me a follow on my YouTube channel, and if you enjoy the content, give me a follow and a like and all those cool things. Rodizio is saying the modular or the structure will depend on the size of the project. In my opinion, I don't typically care of the size. This flat structure in organizing by types always works for me, okay? Barba Paparazes, thank you so much for the rate of 6 people, okay? Thank you so much. Muami is saying the following. I'm making a SaaS application using Laravel in Inertia, and the SaaS app is based on cron jobs like cron job scheduler, which run blah, 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 close to be done. That's awesome, dude. That's awesome. That's awesome. Gustavo is asking me if I'm Portuguese. Yes, I am. But literally my audience is, English based, so I do speak in English in my streams. Charles is asking if Taylor will be here next Wednesday. Yes, Taylor Otwell will be here next Wednesday, so be sure to be here next Wednesday within 2 days to see Taylor Otwell here with us on stream. That will be awesome. And I do speak French as well, indeed. But, chat, I do understand if you guys have different opinions regarding how you organize your Laravel applications, and that's fine. Okay? And that's totally fine. Okay, so jumping into a little bit of this code, something I like to see immediately is the README, okay? So I'm going to jump all the way down to see the README, and apparently this is an Offerly API. So this is the API for the Offerly project, which is a marketplace application. It was created to help people share their projects or services in a more organized way. I appreciate that this piece of content wasn't AI generated. Chat, I'm going to tell you something. I do hate to see AI generated text. If you want to do a pull request, write the README or whatever, just don't use AI garbage for generate that huge text, okay? Every single time I'm reviewing open source code and I do see like a pull request with a bunch of AI garbage, is like to the trash immediately, because it tells me that the guy didn't even spend 5 minutes crafting a text for me. Okay, I like to keep things simple, so I wouldn't use AI for any kind of README like this. You can use the AI as a helper, but not to generate your entire content. Okay. Transcode is saying hello from Chill. Hey dude, how you doing? Code Sorcier is saying never heard Nuno in French, so I doubt it's true. Bonjour monsieur, comment ça va? Je m'appelle Nuno, je stream sur Twitch tous les jours. Yeah, I do speak French because I lived there for 5 years, man. Charlie is saying, I do know that you speak French. I have seen some of your videos on YouTube. Thank you, dude. You are absolutely awesome. Leprise, how you doing, man? Nice to see you. Bonjour les baguettes. So yeah, so something really cool again is seeing this description, a very friendly description. That's a good thing. I'm also seeing that we have a requirements section which tells me exactly what I need to run this project locally. I am surprised by seeing that. That's actually a very good thing. So we do have the requirements, and I do believe we need Docker. Here we go with Sail. And then we have the installation. So something really important when you are crafting a Laravel application is making sure that the README contains clear documentation about to set up the project locally, okay? And you want to make sure this stuff is up to date. So every now and then, just clone your project locally, try to set up the project from scratch to see if actually works, okay? So this is actually a good thing. I can immediately just, do some git clones, sail ups, some composer install, npm install, do this crap, php and migrate, and that's it. He's also using PostgreSQL. I told you guys, in 2025, especially within this Python, Ruby, PHP ecosystem, we are going to see a lot of people migrating to PostgreSQL, okay? I have the feeling that, MySQL is kind of kind of staying a little bit behind, especially with this vector searching situation coming to the scene with AI. A lot of these databases require, or a lot of these applications actually require vector searching. So, I feel that Postgres SQLite is a very, very good choice, chat. A very good choice. Okay. By the way, chat, my sickness is totally gone, so that's a good thing. I can literally chat by 10 minutes without coughing all the time, which is awesome. Roberto99 is saying, great advice, clean setup, but probably no one do this. I do this, chat, I do this. Literally, Laravel Cloud Project. If you go to the Laravel Cloud Project, the first thing on the README is literally how people can clone this locally and start playing with the project. Okay? Start playing with the project. Immediately, good thing. Okay? Arthur is asking the following. Ooh, apparently you have like a question that is like more an advice for your own application. I would probably defer that question to my Discord channel, okay? On my Discord, I do have a special channel for support. You can have that question over there and I'll help you out. Code Sourcer is saying the following. Vector search in Postgres are magic. Indeed, chat, indeed. And I've used it and it's amazing. Postgres is all the way because Microsoft per core licensing should be illegal. I agree with you, man. I do agree with you. Okay. So a good README, that's a good thing. Let's jump a little bit into the actual project. Something I like to see immediately is how the test suite is. Okay, something I like to see immediately is how the code is actually tested. It's using past PHP. That's a good sign already. That's a good sign already. Using past PHP. Let's jump a little bit into the feature folder, which contains an HTTP layer. Dude, this really looks something I would do myself. Jesus Christ. I always do this. I'm pretty sure this guy have watched my streams. Like, literally impossible. If this pine.json is actually the one I use, okay, this guy watched my streams. Yeah, absolutely. This looks like the vest kit, man. Like, literally. Let me jump into my vest kit, Laravel. Oh, yeah. He watches my streams, for sure. Okay, a lot of what this guy has on his project is a lot of the things I would do myself. But, that's a good thing, I guess, right? It's people are literally, getting inspired a little bit by the way I do things. And that's actually a good thing, I think. What is vector search is asking Roberto99. That's actually a very good question. Vector search, look, just think about this. Sometimes you go to something like Google or you go to these new, very modern platforms and you search for blue and you suddenly see an image with blue, or you see an image that is not even in your language, but it's blue. So let's call it vector searching because you are almost searching for a feeling. Okay, it's kind of hard to explain, but instead of searching for words that are typo tolerant, you basically are searching for, how do I explain vector searching? Jesus Christ, it's so complicated to explain. Jesus Smith is asking, you need to put together a whole past course. Maybe, man. I like to produce videos to YouTube like I'm doing right now. I don't think I will ever do like a video course, like spending the time. It's just basically, it's not worth it. Like, why I would just basically spend like 40 hours not streaming and just be on my own to do 40K, for example. It's not worth it, I could do it, but it's not worth it. So, if you guys want to see some past content, I have some videos already on my own YouTube channel, and, you can learn a few things with that, all right? Ooh, Kutsurciar actually made a very good example. Vector searching is more about search for something that look or sounds like instead of just being like something. That's actually a very good example. What I do know about vector searching is that if you, for example, if you say, I do like the sky, for example, and then you search for a blue, it will give you I do like the sky because it's the same meaning or whatever, okay? So it's pretty cool. It's pretty cool vector searching, Roberto. If you haven't already dived into it, I do advise you to do that, okay? Okay, chat, let's jump into the test, which I immediately see that he uses some of the conventions I love, which is features only contains like HTTP layer, jobs layer, and console layer. But then if I jump into the unit level, I get to see things being tested in a more granular way, like just queries or, models. Ooh, and I do see that he uses repositories, okay, chat? This will be an interesting one. Let me see as well the architectural testing to see what do we find here, okay? So this is something I typically do. This was very likely to be just copied from one of my projects, probably just one of the many I have out there, which is open source. Pretty cool stuff here. Pretty cool stuff. So if you don't know, architectural testing is a very powerful feature in past PHP. Allows you to basically making sure that the code looks structurally, but also very modular, and there is no interdependencies between modules that shouldn't have dependencies. One very good example I like to give is models, for example. I don't know if he has an example here. Let me see. Exactly. Models is actually a very good example because you want to make sure that all of the models are only be used in certain layers of your project. So this is actually a very good test that you can have in your Laravel projects to ensure that everything is super modular and very well organized, okay? Architectural testing for the win. Architectural testing for the win. I can tell you that. Vibe searching. Lee Press is saying the following. I love Laravel and I use it for many projects, but I'm wondering if it's a good fit for building microservices since that is the next step for an app of my company. Do you have any experience with that? I do feel like it really depends on the microservice you are developing. I'm going to give you an example. If you want to build like a very, very micro thing, like something that exports Excels or whatever, it probably, using a web framework is probably indeed too much. But if you want to build something that will probably contain validation, you will need queue jobs potentially, probably an HTTP endpoint, I would probably already jump into Laravel, because Laravel is probably actually a good fit for those kind of situations. You know what I mean? So Laravel is awesome for those, even for those microservices. We do have microservices as well on Laravel, the company, and some of them are built with Laravel. But we also have other microservices which are built with Go, for example, okay? Danny Guzman is asking the following. Nuno, you saw the Levels.io and the CEO of Cloudflare said about Portugal. Yeah, man, they said something I also believe as a Portuguese, which is Portuguese is a great country in terms of weather, is a great country in terms of food, but it's the worst country in the planet if you want to make money, because literally everything is slow, nothing moves, you just pay taxes like insane. So yeah, I mean, I guess you cannot have everything. So Roberto99 is saying the following. Your code is really good when other people are using it in your own projects. Thank you. I think, indeed, man, that's a good sign, but also a sign that people are paying attention. And, if people are learning something from my streams, it makes me super proud of and super happy, okay? That's a good thing. Yeah, that's the only problem about Portugal is like government sucks and taxes are a nightmare. That's it. And Santoshi is saying that all Europe is not good to make money. Yeah, all Europe is not good to make money. However, in Portugal, because salaries are so low, if you make more than an average, you are taxed like a millionaire. Like a billionaire, honestly. So, like if you make, for example, $1,500 in Portugal, you are taxed like 50% already, which is just mind-blowing. Anyways, let's keep going and just keep reviewing this, okay? So again, chat, just looking at this task structure, I do see some of the things I love about testing in general, okay? One of the things is that he actually have this feature level structure in this unit level structure. Typically, again, the feature level structure is where I do like to have all of the entry points of my app. And typically this will be the HTTP layer, the jobs layer, and the console layer, because are literally entry points to my application. So that's a good thing. And just looking, for example, into the HTTP layer, I get to see, for example, that one of those HTTP layers are literally a regular API, and I can jump into this search controller test to see this API endpoint actually being tested. So something here I'm seeing already is getting JSON and assert the response of that same JSON endpoint. So this is actually very solid stuff here. Okay, chat. I do see again that this guy is watching my streams, which is awesome. And again, at unit level, we get to see a little bit that things being tested in isolation. There's a couple of things that immediately jump into my mind about this fault structure that I possibly will question. One of them is the repositories layer. I'm not a fan of repositories, you guys know me, but also like DTOs being tested. If DTOs are simply objects that hold data, I don't see a reason why I would ever test them unless he added actually behavior into this DTOs, which is something which is also questionable. Okay, but we are going to have time to see all of that, chat. We are going to have time to see all of that. Now, that was a testing layer. I want to see as well, still regarding the testing layer, how exactly this project is organized in terms of CI. So obviously, if I click on Git workflows, I get to see immediately that this guy uses GitHub Actions for running his CI. And honestly, probably everyone should be using GitHub Actions. There is only one thing that sucks on GitHub Actions, which is they are actually super slow. But besides that situation, it's actually cool, okay? It's actually cool. GitHub Actions just works. You can have literally all your CI duties over there, and it's really awesome, okay? It's running on top of Ubuntu latest version, PHP 8.4, and if I go all the way down, I get to see that he runs Composer test, which is actually also a good thing. This is also another thing that also comes from my streams, is that typically I like to have a Composer test script which runs my entire CI. So if I jump into my composer.json, I do expect to see, type checking and there we go, all of those cool things. And we talked a bunch about this, chat. It's very important for someone coming to your project to be sure that the only thing they have to do to run the test suite is type composer test, no matter how complicated your test suite is. Remember, Shad, always remember this. Just imagine you arriving to a company and they tell you, oh, to run the CI, you need to type vendor bin whatever, and you need to run npm run XYZ, and you need to type blah, 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 and you need to type whatever. Just imagine have to memorize all of these commands, okay? It's just a total mess. So what you do is literally, you just encapsulate all of that within a single composer test. So people, the only thing they have to do is type composer test, and that automatically will run your entire CI. And we are talking about type coverage, Rector PHP, which is literally styling. We are talking about linked with Pint, which is equally styling. We're talking about type coverage or type checking with PHP's TypeScript, which is PHP stan, and equally past PHP in parallel with coverage 100%. Honestly, this is awesome, chat. And if you're not doing this already, you probably should, okay? You probably should. Charking is asking, what's up, Nuno? Are you feeling better? Dude, much better, man. I don't know if you can see it, but I'm feeling much better. Honestly, not sick anymore. Feels good, man. Feels good. Mike is saying, you talk like a real salesman. I do? Is that a good thing, dude? Let me know. Renato is saying the following. Based on composer test, I put my composer restart that clears cache, migrate fresh, seats, and everything you need. That's interesting. That's actually interesting. Like literally. Just the composer flush, boom, 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 and just literally clears the cache and runs migrations. That's actually a very interesting thing to do. I never thought about that, but honestly, it looks a good idea, man. That actually looks a good idea. Hey Joel, what's up? How you doing? Welcome to the live stream. If you don't know me, chat, if you don't know me, my name is Nuno Maduro, and welcome back. Welcome back, streaming pretty much every weekday. Check my YouTube channel. I have amazing content over there. A new YouTube video, in case you haven't checked it already, about everything coming new, PHP 8.5. Check that already if you haven't, because the pipe operator is indeed awesome. Today, chat, we are doing 4 things. Actually, probably 3 or 2, to be fair. We are reviewing code. Then we jump in to see what is the new what is the new AI video model from Google, call it VO3. And then if we have time, we jump into the software engineer job market section, if we have time, okay? If we have time. Dean, how you doing? Nice to see you. Okay, let's jump into other things, okay? And again, chat, this is a very important thing to do, okay? I have this on Laravel Cloud, I have this on Laravel Vapor, I have this on Forge, like everything we use had this little snippet. It's a very important thing to have, okay? Okay, very important. Renato is saying, I'm fighting with past level max right now. It probably meant PHP stand level max. Luis Cruz is saying, I don't like the pipe operator. Chat, I told that on the video already. I have said hundreds of times that I don't like naming arguments. I don't like attributes, but I just use them now because I love them. It's a very actual, like, something I have learned, chat. Something I have learned is that some of this new syntax, like literally every time you work with something different from you are used to, your immediate response is, I don't like this. Just imagine the first time you saw React. You were like, bleh, like immediately just throwing up. Because React looks ugly on the first try. But then you actually start working with it and it's super simple. I just wish, like, for God's sake, I just wish people would see PHP in 2025 without any preconceptions. You know what I mean? Because I feel like if people would jump into PHP right now, they will be like, holy shit. What is this new language? Looks awesome. If they would jump into PHP, like right now, from scratch, they probably would be, holy shit, I love this new language. I love this new language. Pablo Romero is saying, where I can deploy a Laravel app for free. I checked Laravel Cloud, but there is database costs. I don't think there's a place to act. If you want to actually have an application out there and pay $0, there is actually something that gives you that on any language, because I don't think there is. I mean, with the database, like, I don't know, By the way, chat, how do you feel about not having music on stream? Does it feel good? Does it feel weird? Does it feel better? Does it feel, I don't know, does it feel the same? Because I'm going to be honest with you, for editing, like let's assume, for example, I want to make a video out of this code review, for example, okay? Let's assume that. If I want to make a video out of this code review, not having music is just so much better because I can literally just pre-process the video in this tool that I'll just cut out things that I'm not speaking, and it's just so much faster. So okay, people are saying looks better. That's already a good thing. So thanks to that. Thank you. Feels the same. Oh my god, thank you. Murmur is saying we need multi-line short closures in PHP like in JavaScript. You know what, dude? Just check this out. Multi-line short closures. PHP. I'm going to show you something, chat. I'm going to show you something. Is this the one? This is the one. All right, chat. I'm going to tell you a top secret situation about PHP. 3 years ago, I literally created a PHP RFC, call it Short Closures 2.0. And the goal of this RFC was literally giving back or bringing literally multi-line short closures to PHP. This was the goal, okay? This was the goal. And the status was declined because of multiple reasons. But let me read this for you, because I don't know what you guys think. I want to, like, just forget everything you know. I'm going to read this for you, and then let's rerun the vote here on stream. Okay, are you guys ready? Let's do this. So, introduction. Anonymous functions in PHP can be very verbose, in part due to the need to manually import used variables. This makes code using simple closures hard to read and to understand. Arrow functions were introduced in PHP 7.4. And you guys know this, like literally we use this all the time, like literally arrow functions. I don't know about you guys, but I do use this stuff all the time, like literally all the time. I'm doing a closure, I'm just using this like all the time, honestly, just every single time I'm using this, okay? So this was introduced in PHP 7.4, and however, this single expression limitation can lead to complex one-liners or makes arrow functions unfit many use cases that you probably would benefit from a more concise syntax. So what thus this RFC proposes is an extension to arrow function syntax supporting multiple statements. So instead of literally having an array filter with the word function, you just use fn. Now, for some of you, this is probably the same thing. It's not, dude. We are talking about 5 less characters or something like that. So I'm a big fan of this addition to PHP. I think it's a much better, just a much better experience and something you would expect typically. Like, honestly, if you have a function that looks like this, if you want to convert this to a multi-line multi-line function, you would naturally just shift into this. And today in PHP, you kind of have to do this, with the full thing. So I don't know what you guys think, but this RFC was, heavily detailed about, everything that could potentially happen, what you have currently in JavaScript and blah, blah, blah. But if I go all the way down, this was a very controversial RFC. And honestly, now that I'm looking into this, there is 27 yeses into 16 no's, which is, it was kind of good already. I think we were very close to actually have this in PHP. And, that was it. Drew is saying the following: thank you for the amazing streams. I love the style and appreciate just code without any drama. Thank you, man. Can you submit RFC? I think we did, actually. We did submit RFC, was still not approved, but that's okay. John is asking, what is the music genre did you play in the previous streams? I just call it country. I'm a big fan of country music, okay? Big fan. By the way, chat, I do ask you, for God's sake, to give me, every time you were watching me on YouTube, just if you can, leave me a like on the video, okay? It's actually very important for the YouTube algorithm to have likes on videos. So every time you are watching my streams, and if you are actually having a good moment, like literally, if you are enjoying the stream, just put a like on the video, and that helps me so much, and it's for free for you, okay? It's for free. But yeah, I think this would have been an amazing addition to PHP, but it is what it is. There is probably good reason why this was rejected. I remember that back then, the situation was, we probably don't need this. It will complicate things. I don't think it will. The pull request was heavily, very, very small, but I don't know, chat. What do you guys think? All right, let's make a vote. Let's make a vote, chat. Let's make a vote. Do you guys want multi-line short closures or not? Write on the chat yes if you want them, or write on the chat no if you don't want them. I want to see that. Felipe is saying, cheers from Brazil. What's up, dude? How you doing? Oh, yeah, in TypeScript, I use them a lot as well. Absolutely. Me too, man. And, I mean, honestly, I don't think there is any language that doesn't have that. Like, honestly, Rust has multi-line. JavaScript has multi-line. Python has multi-line. I don't know about Ruby, but I would expect Ruby is magical by definition, so... There is most of you said yes, but there is some no's as well. Interesting. Interesting, Chad. Anyways, maybe in the future we are going to see this. I don't know, man. I don't know. Let's see. Let's see how it goes, Chad. That being said, let's jump back into some code review, Chad. I told you once, but I told you twice, which is something very important is making sure you are using fully all of the tools you have at your availability, okay? So remember, if you are using Pint, just be sure not be, kind of with the default options that Pint gives you. Not a lot of people know about this, but you can actually heavily customize Pint. And I'm seeing already, jumping into this Pint.json, that this guy have actually done a bunch of stuff on this Pint configuration file, including making sure all the projects uses final classes. Also, for example, we use MB functions all the time, which is very important. Probably declare strict types. Here we go. Strict comparisons as well. This is actually a very important thing. So if you are using Laravel Pint, make sure you customize Pint to its fully power, basically. Okay? Okay? That's a very important thing. So not only Pint, to be fair, PHP stand should be the same thing. I can see that he's using level max. Chat, I'm going to tell you something. In theory, you should always go for level max. However, in reality, in web applications, I found it difficult to actually be at level max. Not because PHP stand is not good, it's because Latastan is actually okay, but not perfect to the level max of PHP stand. Okay, so I typically go to level 6 within my own Laravel applications, and I think it's enough. He is using level max, so, props to him, and I think it's awesome. However, don't feel, ashamed or guilt if you are using level 6 or level 5, because it's actually very acceptable, and it's already a very good thing. A lot of people actually, they get overwhelmed because they are not even using PHP stand to begin with, okay? So if you are using level 1 or level 2, that's actually a very good thing already. So if you can go to level 6 or level 5, that's actually a very good thing already. Level max, you don't have to go that way. You don't have to go that way, okay? You don't have to go that way. That's probably way too much. So, but let me know what you think. Anyways, regarding the tooling, this guy is using very advanced techniques already. I can see just by looking into his Pint.json, into his PHP stand, but also into his composer test that a lot of the things he is using, it's actually from a very advanced PHP developer. This is actually a very good thing. And honestly, chat, if you guys know tools like Rector or PHP stand, you can call yourself a senior software engineer, chat, okay? Because this is actually very advanced PHP tooling, okay? And a lot of people, they tell themselves they have like 20 years experience, but they don't even know PHP stand or Rector. That's a red flag if they are as senior as they say they are. So, I don't know. Luis Cruz is saying the following. I tried to migrate from CS Fixer to Pint in my job, but my team wanted more details on the links, like what line, etc. So no auto fixing. So in fact, past Pint, you can use Pint-test-v, and that gives you all of the detail you are wanting. Okay, just be sure you use --test and -v, and you are going to have all of that detail right there on the console. Philippe is saying the following. I'm using level 5 with PHP stand. That's awesome, man. That's awesome. Ivan is saying the following. I've tried to use PHP stand level max, but it usually gives me a lot of more work. I agree with you, especially on web applications. When you jump from level 5 to level max, for example, the value is not really there. It stops being that valuable. You know what I mean? Luis Cruz is saying the following about the -b option on Pint. I didn't know about that. Thank you so much. You're welcome, dude. Halim is saying the following: a special thanks for the Pokio package. It will help to increase performances with Inertia.js. Dude, that package is for me only, okay? You can use it, but you are at your own risk. Honestly, Pokio PHP chat, Pokio PHP, which is literally this project I have created, this is marked and set in stone for my internal use because there is actually some gotchas or some kind of magical stuff happening behind the scenes, like using inter-process communication with FFI, but also bypassing these structures. There is actually some stuff here which you probably don't want sometimes, so you need to be careful when using this package, okay? You can use it, just be careful, okay? Just be careful. But yeah, chat, if you don't have PHP Stand already, just be sure to start with level 0, then jump to level 1, level 2. Just go slowly, surely, making sure you are having fun with PHP Stand, because code is also about having fun, okay? Code is also about having fun, chat. Honestly, make sure you go happy every single day to work. This is a very important thing, like just being happy, waking up happy, go to work, having fun coding, enjoying being with your friends at work or remotely, chat with your buddies all the time. This is a very important thing. It's been years, probably a decade already, from the last time I wake up like sad, honestly. It doesn't happen anymore, and I'm gonna make sure that doesn't happen again ever, okay? It's a very important thing, Chad, okay? We are going to probably talk about that today a little bit on this why do I feel burnout situation video, okay? A very good advice here from Felipe. If you are having problems with starting with PHP Stand on a legacy code base, a very good idea is using the baseline. Indeed, chat. Indeed. All right, chat, let's jump a little bit into the code structure of this project. And honestly, just looking at this already, something I'm having fun looking at is there is no modules, but we are seeing everything as a flat structure. Okay, so I don't see like sales and articles and books and whatever. I literally see everything organized by type. So if I want to see the models, I can just click on this folder. If I want to see the HTTP layer, I can just click on this folder. If I want to see all of the DTOs, I can click on this folder. Something that allows me to literally just click and understand the full logic here. I can just click on models and almost understand the full database just looking into this, okay? Probably a user can have, multiple products. A product can have one category, multiple comments, multiple media. So I just love jumping into the models folder and just immediately have just a glimpse of everything we are going to find on this project. I love this situation, and I feel like this is the way I also build my own Laravel applications, okay, chat? Okay. Mikael is asking when we are going to see generics in PHP. Probably never, man. Ivo Ferreira is asking, can you share the repo link? Absolutely. This is not my project, okay? This is a project submitted to my Discord as someone literally asked me to review his project, okay? So this is not my project. However, I can immediately understand this guy follows our streams because a lot of the things I'm finding on this project is something I have pitched for you guys already. Okay? Especially around testing. Let's see now about the actual code, but especially around testing, I would do that stuff all the time. Also, we talked a little bit about commit messages, for example. So if I click here on this project, I can immediately understand that he's probably using some of the conventions we talked about before. For example, using the prefix refactor when you want to actually just retouch some existing code without changing everything. This is actually a very cool thing. Again, I can just immediately look into this and see that understand that this is actually a new feature. So also a good thing. And probably if he has some bug fixes, I would probably find just fix instead of feat. So this is called conventional commits, I think. Let me just double check that for you real quick. Yeah, here we go. Conventional commits, okay, Shad? This is literally a convention that a lot of experts follow. I don't know if you guys follow this already, but let me know. Write on the chat if you actually already follow this convention, or if you don't. If you don't, it's actually okay, but it's also something that you probably want to know. Okay. You do, Luis? That's awesome. Maltrox from TikTok. How you doing, man? Welcome to the live stream. Rafael is saying that he also uses conventional commits, and Renato is also saying that he uses conventional commits. I think it's actually a very good way to literally just making sure that all of your commits look awesome, okay? So let's click here into application once again, jump into the models, and I want to look into the user model to see what we are going to find here, okay? Okay, this is actually a cool thing, making sure we have very good auto completion in our models. I told you this, guys, already. Having this property annotations on top of every single model is actually a very good thing. I would probably only change these properties here to properly read, because technically I will always use the update. So I don't use, just attribute assignments to change properties. So I would probably just use property read in every single attributes we are going to find here, but this is actually a very good thing as well. So we have this as factory, which is literally the factory for this model, which this model is also notifiable. We have a bunch of hidden fields, which is good. Our relations properly annotated with PHP stan generic types. This is actually also very good. Ooh. Okay. Solid stuff here. Nothing really to say about this. I would probably code this in the same way. Let's jump into products, for example. Everything is fully annotated on top as well. Using Spatie Media Library for images. I don't know if you guys know, but actually Spatie Media Library is an awesome package if you want to actually have images associated with your models. I don't actually have used this myself, but I do know for a fact that Spatie Media Library is actually the go-to options if you want to have images in your Laravel projects. I do have images on Laravel Cloud, but it was such a simple use case that I literally coded the thing on my own. But let me know in the chat if you have used this already, and if you have used Laravel Media Library already, how does it feel like? It does give you the freedom to do whatever you want. This feels good, works well. Let me know in the chat, what do you think? Luis Cruz is saying that I use Laravel Media Library all the time. It's super good and easy to set up. Interesting. Ivan is saying the following: if you review my code, you will think that it was you who wrote it, because you inspire me a lot. And that's awesome, man. That's awesome. I really appreciate that feedback. And honestly, if while you are, applying some of the things I literally talk about on these live streams, if you see something that you think it might be better differently, just let me know. I'm also here to learn with you, okay? Renato is saying that I use polymorphic for my images, but not this package. Interesting. Rich is saying that this package is also good for PDFs. Oh my god, what does Spatie doesn't have? Insane. Insane, Chad. I can see that, all of the relations are declared here, and kind of what I would expect is that every product belongs to a user, but I'm not seeing that. Maybe I will find that in the future. If I click on users, for example, do I see products anywhere? I don't. Okay, gotcha. No problem whatsoever. Probably like the products are inserted on the back end, and the users can only add comments to those products, which probably makes sense. Space is asking if I review filament packages. I typically prefer to review actual web applications because I feel like packages are typically either too simple or either too complex. So you know. Okay, so I immediately understand that he follows this small models approach. I'm a big fan of small models, not fat models. So I like to have my models super simple, typically with a couple of things like the properties all the way top and just all of my relations alongside with casting and fillable attributes. I do think, not fillable, but hidden attributes, apologize. And I typically feel that this is the way to go. I don't like to have things like queries on my models, okay? I typically have those aside, okay? So models are absolutely validated on this project. Let's jump a little bit into other things now. Let's jump, for example, into the provider situation. Let's see this. Okay, this guy absolutely inspired himself on my stuff because I do this all the time, like literally. If you click on my vest kit, for example, I literally have these 4 lines right there, okay? But you guys know, like it's very important to have a single app service provider that makes sure no destructive commands happen in production, make sure you use immutable dates, make sure you use unguard, but also that all models should be strict, and obviously aggressive prefetching for VIT. There's a few other things I do which are not here, interestingly. So if I go into my Vest Kits Laravel. There is other things I do, which now are on the Laravel Nuno Essentials, I think. Let me see that real quick. Here we go. There is a couple of things I also do, like prevent eager loading or use a different password default, for example. Here we go. Using a different password default, a way more strict password. But also prevent stray requests on the HTTP on the testing layer, forcing the HTTPS schema, of course. Yep. Okay, there is cool things here, but probably would have a few more to make this a little bit more complete. Okay, better password defaults, force HTTPS layers, and a bunch of other Laravel defaults that are actually very good to have on this project. Okay. Automatically eager load, exactly. Okay, solid stuff here. Let's take a look into the HTTP layer, which typically is organized exactly. API, for example, and I can click on Search Controller to take a peek on this. Okay, it's actually doing something here which I typically don't, which is having this service layer. Let me take a peek into that a little bit. What is this service layer? Search service. Yep, this is not something I would do myself. I would probably just have this on the controller itself. I find like some people like to have this service layer to literally just encapsulate stuff you would do, on the controller itself. I do feel like, especially stuff like querying, for example, I would probably just keep that really simple on the controller. And if I have things like that would mutate my application, I would use actions for it. Okay, I'm going to just click here on the HTTP layer, go to the controllers, products, for example. Let's jump into this commands, index controller. Do they have something like it stores stuff effectively? They don't. Let me see this real quick. It's only read stuff? Are you serious? Let me go here into the routes web PHP. It's only get. Interesting. So there is no actual posts or puts or deletes. It's literally only getting. So probably the database exists, but it's being populated by a backend service, like an admin panel, for example. Hey Mateus, how you doing? I don't know what you guys think, but I typically, especially when my controller is super simple, I like to also keep it simple. There is no need to abstract, some of those queries to a separate class if they are only be invocable on my controllers. Okay, so typically here something I would probably do is if you want to make a search, just have the query right here. Okay, just have the query right here. That probably would make it a tons more simple. Undeniably, he is using resources as well, which is okay. Like using resources is actually okay. The only thing I would probably do is having this query just being performed right here, because I do think it makes things a little bit more simple. Okay. Kanato is saying, if the stuff is too complex, put it on the class. If it's simple, go with a controller. Exactly, because typically if it's complex enough, needs to be tested in isolation, therefore a class makes sense. If it's simple, if it's only one path, probably just having it on a controller just works. You know what I mean? By the way, chat, if you just arrived, my name is Nuno Maduro, PHP and Laravel developer, streaming every now and then. Give me a follow on Twitch and YouTube if you are enjoying this content. And be sure to actually put a like on the video. Actually, having a like on this video, on this stream, is super important to make sure that my content gets proposed to other people. So it's for free. If you can do that, I would appreciate that, all right? So let's jump, for example, into this show controller. I would also not using invocable controllers for this, okay? Definitely using invocable controllers. Not always, but sometimes it's kind of overkill. So here is definitely overkill. I would probably only have, I would click on V1 and have this product controller, which would contain the index and the show. I would kind of not have this thing as a separate class. I think it's kind of overkill. What do you guys think? Do you guys also use like invocable controllers all the time? I don't, like honestly. I think it's overkill, like especially just looking into this, having an invocable controller for the index and another invocable controller for the show is definitely overkill. I would just have public function index and public function show, that's it. Ivo Freire is saying that I also don't use invocable controllers that way. All right, you are with me on that one. I totally agree with you. Konstantin Tiklo is saying the following. I use invocable only for functions that are not CRUD-cruddy. Exactly, just like me. Just like me. So I typically, if I have a controller, for example, that only exists for receiving a post, so it goes outside of the CRUD situation, I do make it, I may make it like invocable, but, Space is saying developers are the only people who learn while working. Absolutely, man. Mateus Junges is saying that I use resourceful controllers for CRUD methods, otherwise it's invocable. Yeah, what do I feel is that everything can be made into CRUDy, basically, okay? Almost, like, it's very rare that I use invocable because you can make pretty much everything invocable. Let's just think a little bit. Like, if you have user, for example, a user can have obviously like the index, the create, the store. Let's actually make this a product, okay? You can have all of this, right? But if you think, for example, on product image, for example, okay, you can also make this like literally CRUDy as well. This is probably just update. You know what I mean? Update and destroy if you want to just update the image and destroy the image. Everything can be made into CRUDy if you think a little bit about that. If you spend enough time thinking on naming, everything can be made into being CRUDy in terms of controllers. Okay? I guess just like Roberts is saying, that's actually a very good example. Something that cannot be made into CRUDy is a search. That's actually a very good example of something that would be invocable. Okay? Because, the product image is actually a resource. And the product is also a resource. But the search is not a resource, therefore it is invocable. That's actually a very good example. Okay? Ooh, very good question from Luis. What do you think about auth as cruddy? So typically, I like to have this current session controller. So, and I make this thing like cruddy as well. So if you do something like store, this will basically log in the user. If you have a destroy, this will log out the user. So when you click on login, it's actually going into this current session controller. And when you have something like log out, it will destroy the current section. And here you go. This is literally a resource, the current section. How about the deactivate and activate function? That's actually a very good question. So for example, let's assume you have this product and a product have a status, which might be active or let's say published and unpublished, okay? So a common problem that people may find on this is that sometimes they have this feeling of, okay, I'm going to basically do some, potentially product publish controller and make it invocable and have this public unpublished controller. So this is actually something I don't do because I feel like you can make this cruddy as well. So the way I would do this is probably have this product status controller, and this will have an update. And the update will only receive either two statuses, the first one being published and the second one being unpublished, okay? And the very cool thing about this kind of pattern is that if you want to kind of expand a little bit the enum to other statuses, like, oh my God, autocomplete is annoying. If you want to expand a little bit this enum, like something like draft or whatever, you can just do it and accept a new status type, okay? So the Aprod, how you doing, man? Nice to see you. Mateus is saying that this is called cruddy by design, indeed. This is a good one, right, Konstantin? Yeah, this is a good one indeed, man. So again, chat, every time you think about controllers, just make sure everything can be made into cruddy, like always, okay? So again, just to recap a little bit, in terms of this HTTP layer, looks obviously well coded. I probably would change a few things. I don't think there is a need of invocable controllers all the time. So probably would have just product controller only. This search controller can indeed be invocable because it's not a resource and not something that can be made into cruddy. But good stuff here. Good stuff on the HTTP layer. So what else do we have? We have the DTOs layer. And we talked a little bit about this on a few times in the past, that I'm actually open to explore a little bit the DTO layer in the sense that sometimes you have this actions pattern, right? Something that looks into like this. You have potentially like a public function store which accepts a create request, for example. But then you have also like, the create action, okay? We talked about this a little bit in the past. And one of the problems I find while coding is that the action will literally just receive an array of data you want to execute this action with. And some of you talked about that this might be a little bit unsafe because this validated stuff will be actually an array, okay? Will be actually an array. So not an object, not a fully typed object. And we talked about like literally just having this, let's see, something like product, a DTO, which can be created from this array and then be a fully typed object that you may provide to the action layer. And I kind of like this a little bit. I think it's actually a very good pattern that I'm willing to explore, okay? Ooh, Luis Cruz is saying a very important thing, I guess. He's a very fan of actually having this 2DTO on the request class that returns that fully typed object. So I guess what you're saying is that instead of literally doing this on the controller itself, you probably would do this, right? 2DTO. That's actually interesting. I like that. That's actually a very good idea. Hey, Laravel View Media is talking about the 10K steps. I just went to the gym today again, so now I'm doing literally gym pretty much not every day, but every 3-4 times a week, and I'm having fun. Konstantin is saying make this small videos to watch later. Yeah, man, I will probably make a video about this entire review. But it's good things to explore here a little bit, I have never used the Laravel data package from Spatie. I may be willing to check that, all right? Giveslet from TikTok is saying, are you in TikTok? Where are you reading the comments from? I'm reading my comments from Twitch and YouTube. So I'm streaming for this for very various platforms at the moment, and I have all of the chats open, so I can see everything pretty much. Okay. So DTOs, okay, we talked about this. We talked about the HTTP layer. We talked about models. We talked about the app providers, queries folder to encapsulate complex queries. We talked about this in previous streams already. I'm a big fan of this kind of stuff, literally encapsulate complex queries on the queries folder. And I'm not a fan of the services folder, unless you are communicating with outside services, okay? All right, chat. I want to move to a different topic on the live stream if we have the time. We have literally 10 minutes or 20 minutes. So I guess let's just recap a little bit of everything we have seen today on this code. Overall, I feel like this is a very well-coded project in the sense that you can clearly see that the guy knows what exactly he's doing, is well-tested. It follows very good patterns, like having this test situation all set up here on my composer.json. He's using modern tooling. The code is very consistent, okay? Sometimes when you look at code, it sometimes is more about the code being consistent rather than just being wrong, okay? You might not, for example, agree with the usage of the service layer right here. However, it's kind of important that he is actually using the service layer all the time. Okay, so sometimes, again, it's more important to be consistent than being correct or right, okay? And I'm pretty sure that if someone else would jump into this project, at least it would understand immediately how to write code for a new feature, because it could base himself on the all existing code because everything looks the same, okay? So again, consistency is a very important thing to follow on the code base, making sure everything looks the same, okay? So I would say that this project is probably a 9 out of 10 or a 10 out of 10. So let's clap for this project from Amimi, which is undeniably a very good project. Congratulations. I'm going to give him a GitHub start as well. I'm going to send you guys a repo. Just be sure to clap to him as well. Very cool stuff right here, Shad. And if you just arrived, my name is Nuno Maduro, PHP and Laravel developer. Today we are reviewing code, but we are going to jump right now into the news section of this live stream. And again, if you enjoy my content, be sure to give me a follow on my YouTube channel. I'm publishing videos every now and then. And, you know, if you enjoy the live stream today, be sure to give me a like as well. Jacob is asking, what do you think about using DDD in Laravel? I'm not a fan of. DDD implies changing a little bit the file structure you may find in Laravel by default, and I'm not a fan of that, okay? I'm not a fan of that. All right, chat, let's jump into this video by Theo.gg. So just to give you a context a little bit about this all AI video generation stuff, let me just give you a grasp of it. I don't know if you guys seen, but probably 1 year ago, the AI generation for videos, it was super bad in the sense that you probably would see a video from Will Smith just eating some pasta, and honestly, it just sucked. All of the videos we have seen on the internet regarding video generation, everything pretty much sucked. So I don't know what you guys think, but every time I watch any AI generated video out there, all of them suck. Like, honestly, because everything looks like literally AI generated. Nothing actually looks genuinely, real. And every time I'm watching any kind of AI video, all of them suck very hard. So I have seen videos on Twitter of that were generated by this new thing called a VO3 by Google, which apparently is this new AI model that just gives you actually very good AI videos. So I'm very curious to see this in action. And Theo, which is a very famous YouTuber, created this video diving into this, and I'm very curious about this, so I'm going to just watch this stuff with you. Before we do this, I want to make sure the audio is okay, chat. Okay, the audio is okay. So let's run a test and let me know if the audio is okay. Typically, the audio from the video should be at the same level as mine. So that's Theo's voice. This is my voice. What do you think? Is that okay? You cannot hear him? That's interesting. Ooh. Okay, 1 second. That's very
video
weird.
about Google I/O,
How about now?
but I missed something.
Useful after you remove the background too, which is all built in. I promise you I'd show the SDK.
How about now, chat? It works? Nice. That was weird. All right, chat, let's watch this video by Theo reviewing VO3. Again, if you don't know VO3, is this new AI model produced by Google, which apparently makes AI videos actually look real. So let's see how it goes.
I just did a video about Google I/O, but I missed something. I thought the video model was mediocre. I was wrong.
Pretty nuts for a one shot, right? Like, I just generated
Wait,
that
what?
trivia.
I just did a video about Google I/O, but I missed something. I thought the video model was mediocre. I was wrong.
Pretty nuts for a one shot, right? Like,
Jesus.
I just did a video about Google I/O, but I missed something. I thought the video model was mediocre.
Okay, two things. The voice is kind of, looks a little bit like AI, if I'm fair, but that's actually crazy.
I was wrong.
pretty nuts for a one shot, right? Like, I just generated that trivially. It still costs $250 a month to use any of this right now, and the UI is garbage and it's annoying as hell to use. But the quality of what you can get out of VO3 is significantly better than I thought.
Oh, wow.
My tests were bad. I didn't look into it enough. And I'm making this video both because...
Okay, so the prompt to this tool, so again, this is not available outside of the US, is expensive as fuck, and we still need to give this kind of prompt as text to kind of ask for a video. And I don't know if this works in the same way that image generation works, but typically, when you are generating an image with AI, you need to give two prompts, the positive prompt and a negative prompt. And I can see only the positive prompt here, but the positive prompt was a medium shot of a man with dark hair and slightly smiling, wearing a black button-down shirt, sitting on a wooden desk in front of a dark background, which is exactly what Theo does. Interesting. Yeah, so I can imagine, like, if he actually make this prompt really good, he can probably train his own AI model with his own face and potentially just fill that stuff with text. Jesus Christ, that's scary. Yeah, that guy's an AI. So this guy right here is an AI. That's right. Like literally.
I just did a video about Google I/O.
This guy right here is AI. Okay, it was the generated content from the text.
I missed something.
I also agree, like, I don't know what you guys think, but I do think that at some point, all this stuff needs to be regulated at some point, right? Because I can just think a little bit, like, if that stuff gets good enough, imagine this actually getting good enough, all of this digital creation stuff, I'm talking about, like, the industry of movies, the industry of content creation, audiovisual content creation, it will be just gone to this stuff. Okay, like literally.
I thought the video model was mediocre. I was wrong.
Pretty nuts for a one shot, right? Like, I just generated that trivially. It still costs $250 a month to use any of this right now, and the UI is garbage and it's annoying as hell to use. But the quality of what you can get out of VO3 is significantly better than I thought. My tests were bad. I didn't look into it enough. And I'm making this video both because I was wrong for not better covering it, but also because I found it actually very, very fun to play with, and I wanted to share with you guys. That all said, I've already burned through most of the credits I get for the $250, and I want more. So quick break from today's sponsor, and then we'll get right to it. I've been a web dev for a while, and one of the most annoying things, by the way, much easier. You just just absolutely slaughtered everything else on it. It's way...
Yeah, apparently, like, this is just way better than is previous models, and also way better than what we had before. But, you know, my experience with AI generated videos is that all of them suck, but like suck really hard. Like every time I have tried anything whatsoever regarding video generation with AI, all of them were like really bad. Like they looked AI generated. None of them was actually able to produce good stuff. And, you know, and to be really fair, probably this VO3 stuff, people are hyped about that, but it's probably still suck if I were to try it myself. But
way better than Sora. Sora just kind of feels bad now that I compare things a lot more. And the audio side is actually like pretty good and makes for the output to feel significantly more compelling. It's priced at 50 cents per second of video, which is the same price that the previous model was, but it raises to 75 cents per second of video with audio. Their benchmarks are just video.
Wait, what? The price is 50 cents per second? Is this stuff real? 50 seconds per second? I'm doing the math right. This is no way true. 1 second, chat. Let me just grab a calculator. No way. So it's $30 a 1 minute video? No way. Is this true, chat? Does any of you know if this is true? If this is true, this is just so pricey, like so expensive. No way. Oh, wait, and it goes to 75 cents if you actually want a video with audio. Jesus Christ. Luis Shows is saying it's still cheaper than hiring real actors. This is super expensive, like literally. So if you want to try, if I want to try it out and make like a 5 minutes video, oh my god, it would be super expensive already.
Without audio, because they haven't had any other model that can do video and audio at the same time like this before. The results are absolutely nuts. I was playing with it a bunch yesterday and it generated some pretty compelling stuff in my opinion. Here's one of the first things that I put out.
Want to be fast like me? Check out T3 chat.
If you don't know, chat,
Like
T3 chat is literally like the chat GPT of Theo. So it's like the UI Theo have built to interact with AI models and prompting just like you would use ChatGPT.
the amount of different things it just did correctly is absurd. It transitioned between scenes well. It let a subject come into and out of focus well, synced their voice with their face perfectly, changed scenes again. It then had text render with like a nice effect that said the thing I told it to say. Even the hands were solid. Like it did an incredible job. I did not expect it to come out this well. I had just seen other people doing demos with it. It's like,
Exactly. It's $300 for the 10 minutes video. I guess like you always it's just about quality, right? If you pay $300 for a 10 minutes video, but the video is actually very good, it would be okay, you know? Like honestly, if you want to imagine that you are a content creator and you want to have like a very good 10 minutes video where you are like literally reviewing a movie, for example. So you give the text, you give like your face and whatever and your expressions, and you ask, just create the 10 minutes video of me just reviewing this video or this movie with this text. But, you know, the video is actually good, $300, it wouldn't be that expensive. However, if the generated video sucks, then you just have to pay those $300, more $300 to have a second try, and so on. You know what I mean? But exactly, like if you own, again, it comes to quality, literally. Like if you if you ask for the video, in the outcome of the video is actually super good. I think this stuff has a future, but if it just generates random stuff or stuff you don't like, it's still mind blowing though. Like literally, we came up from generated videos that really sucked to this, so this is surprising a little bit. The key is a prompt. Yeah, there is so much you can fit into a prompt though, right? You cannot exactly explain everything within a prompt. At least my experience with image generation, for example, the same prompt will generate a different video all the time. So Roberto is saying, touch your nose to prove this is not AI generated. Fullstack5566 is saying, if you are a movie studio, this is really cheap. Oh, that's true. If you want to make like a MVP of your movie, that's right. Yeah, I'm very curious to see like where we are going to be within 5 years, literally, on this stuff, And I think like within 5 years, we are going to be much closer to something that looks really usable and not this expensive, but I'm pretty sure we are still not there.
Wait, it can do that much? I went and played more. There was a lot of edges that I had to get through, the biggest one being the Flow website, which is so bad. We'll go over some of the ways it's bad in just a bit. I was trying to prompt it to look like me back when I still had the blonde hair and mustache, and it came out looking like Prime. But another test, I tried this one like 8 times, and this is the best I could do. Something caused the first still to look awful. I don't know why it's like that. None of the rest had that problem. Once it plays, it's fine, but you'll notice some details on this one.
Use code VEO at checkout for 1 month free on T3 Chat.
This is really good.
It isn't great at text. It tried.
Oh, really? These typos? Oh, here we go. Oh my God. Customers with typo as well. Typo here as well. It's kind of insane. Like these tools, especially like AI generation, image generation, but also video, they never get the words right. And I don't know why.
But it's not great at it. You need to give it a very small amount of text to render. And even if you tell it to not put in subtitles, it just will sometimes. The free month code included there did work, but we've already burned through all of those. But you can use the same code VEO to get your first month for just $1. So you can use all of the models on T3 Chat for $1 for your first month. I think it's a pretty good deal. It's only $8 a month normally, but still, feel free to give it a shot. That one will run indefinitely, but only for new customers. If you've subscribed in the past, don't try and cancel to get it. It doesn't work that way. Anyway, but the more common problem, and I ran into this a lot, it will constantly fall back to the much worse VO2 model. I was trying earlier to generate a bathrobe rant similar to the stuff that Uncle Bob does. I gave it a prompt describing what I wanted, hit submit, and then realized after that I had forgotten to change the quality option from quality to highest quality with experimental audio from VO3. And every time you submit something, it resets. And even if I click something else that used it, it will still reset unless you just clicked it, which is obnoxious.
Sometimes
and also the thing that I made the mistake.
I don't know what you guys think, chat, but sometimes I'm like, every time I'm seeing this kind of tooling, this kind of UIs, for example, but not even UIs, like sometimes YouTube channels, I don't know how the hell companies like Microsoft and Google, they have so much money and they still have a YouTube channel that sucks so hard. Like the best example is OpenAI. Have you guys seen the live streams from OpenAI? Like honestly, how the hell a multi-billionaire, like there's so much money on those companies and they still have that YouTube channel quality? I have seen a video of OpenAI YouTube channel where there was not a microphone on the video. Like literally the audio sucked so hard. And I'm like, these companies have so much money. How the hell they don't have like a team with very top quality on YouTube videos is kind of insane, honestly. Because they have so much money, but they just miss on very simple things, like literally just making videos. They have money, but they don't have the brains. Oh my God. Hey, what's up, Bankrop CTO? And Training is asking, who is the guy on top? Is Theo, yeah. Megacorp CTO, can you publish that video on my Discord? It is literally a Discord channel, a Discord group where you can just put there, videos that you want me to react to. But yeah, I mean, even like some UIs are so bad, and I don't know how they don't actually just put a bunch of money on these UIs. Like I feel like, for example, one of the reasons why OpenAI is still so relevant now, because there is a lot of models these days. You know, a lot of models, they are actually very good text-wise, but OpenAI successfully have made a desktop app, and for that reason, I'm still paying the subscription and not using something else like Rock. So, you know, these companies have so much money, but they just blew on very simple things like videos and apps.
Of here is I assumed when you do frames to video and you give it a frame that you've saved, that it would still use the thing you selected. Because if you do ingredients to video and you select something for it to start and you try to submit it with VO3 selected, it will fail. It says in the corner here, and I need to unfull screen for you to see it, switching you to a compatible model for this feature. Submit again to confirm or check settings for details. I wish it told me where in settings to check. I don't even know what settings to check. That reminds me of another fun thing that we encountered when I was trying to set this up. I wanted to upload pictures. Originally, you couldn't. They made this change like this morning. So I had a photo of myself I wanted to use because I wanted it to generate the intro for me of me. So I hit the crop button, told it to do that. We sit here for a minute, we wait, and then we get this error. This upload might violate our policies. Please try again with a different image or send feedback. Fine. Not great, but fine. Chat was theorizing that
a lot of these AI image and video models, they literally prevent you from generating images from real people. I guess there's actually a good reason for it, is that they don't want you to impersonate people. Like, just imagine that these AI models at some point will become so powerful that they can actually be used against you, like to impersonate you or stuff like that. So typically, companies like OpenAI, but potentially as well Google, they prevent you from using images from real people so you cannot impersonate them. So,
because I'm too famous, I didn't think that could possibly be the case. So I went and Google image searched for random guy, took a picture of a random guy, uploaded that instead, and as you can see here, it worked fine. Then someone else had the funny idea of what if you flip yourself, so like rotate it 180 degrees, so it's upside down. Tried that, it failed. So then I took myself and I blurred my face out, and that worked. Just blurring my face out allowed it to work. But the results for that were hilarious because I had to use frames to video where you give it like the first frame, and it didn't do the audio. And even though the prompt specifies at the bottom here, do not include subtitles, it forgot to include the audio. It only included subtitles. It also made me somewhat Indian and did not do any of the things I wanted for it to. Annoying. What's more annoying is each one of these generations takes 150 credits, and you get 1,200 credits for your $250 subscription. That means you get 80 generations, and usually you're not doing one at a time, you're doing two at a time, so you effectively get 40 prompts with the default settings. And if you made the mistake of letting it fall back on VO2, then you just wasted a bunch of tokens for no reason at all. Annoying. Very annoying UX. And I haven't even showed you the homepage, which is the most unusable thing I've experienced in a...
So I guess the TLDR of this video, I guess I see enough of it, honestly. But the TLDR is kind of what I was expecting already. Looks promising, looks good, but yeah, not something quite there yet. And it won't be in the next couple months yet. So, I guess within 10 years from now, we are going to have something actually usable, but still not usable from, for someone like me, because it will probably still be expensive, but who knows. Recording a real video might be cheaper. Honestly, I'm going to be honest with you. That is something that I don't think these AI models will actually ever get, which is the authenticity, like basically just being authentic. You know what I mean? Like just being yourself. I think these AI models always like find this kind of formality or this kind of, non-casuality way of speaking or of writing text, basically. So I think there is always space for people like me, for example, who actually stream authentic content, and they create this kind of trust with their viewership. And any kind of generated content AI generated content does not create that. So, if any of you potentially have any interest whatsoever of ever becoming either YouTuber or just, creating your own content. I don't think AI will ever, threat your job on that way, because people actually want to see real people, not AI generated content. But who knows? But yeah, I think I have seen enough of this. It's not actually that good to see, to be honest. VO3 stuff. That's it for today, I think. Chat, next live stream we are going to see this video about software engineering job market in 2025. So just to be mindful, chat, next Wednesday, Taylor Otwell will be here with us on stream. The guy, all right, Taylor Otwell, the creator of Laravel, will actually be here with us. And I do need your help. Please go to my Discord channel. I do have a special room where I will literally prepare this live stream for next Wednesday. I just have literally tomorrow to prepare this. And Taylor will be coming to my live stream, and we are going to have 30 to 60 minutes slot with the creator of Laravel. So if you have questions in mind, if you have ideas of things you would like to see on this stream with Taylor Otwell, just go to my Discord channel. I have literally a room where you can literally just propose your idea, and potentially your question will be picked up to literally make to Taylor Otwell. I want to make, the live stream just different, okay? I don't want to spend time asking like, how did you got into computers, or where are you from, and that kind of bullshit. I want to jump into interesting stuff immediately. Just ask him like cool things about PHP, cool things about Laravel. Just jump into the real stuff immediately, and just do not waste any minute just asking him, where are you from, what do you like to do, what are your hobbies. Nobody cares about that. All of us have that kind of background, and I want to jump immediately into the cool stuff. So if you have ideas as well on this regard, go to my Discord and publish there your ideas, all right? That being said, chat, thank you so much for coming today. I think we are going to, as usual, rate someone. It was a pleasure to be with you all today, doing some code review, but obviously ending with some AI situations. Let's go here and rate someone on Twitch, as usual. Do we have anyone doing PHP, though? Let me see. Yeah, if you have questions for him, definitely the Discord channel is the real place to do that, all right? Oh, we have Jean Patricio online again. Yeah, one of my buddies is literally doing some AI vibe coding, and I'm going to rate him once again, all right? So, chat, thank you so much for being there. Catch you guys Wednesday with Taylor Otwell, all right? Taylor Otwell will be here next Wednesday. Catch you guys next Wednesday. Don't forget that. Peace out.